Welcome back, brothers and sisters of Christ. My name is Brianna and I'm back with another video. And for today's video is Don't You Remember? I'm going to start off by reading a few passages here. And the first one is going to be Matthew chapter 14 verses 15 through 21. And it says, as evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the villages and buy themselves some food." Jesus replied, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." "We have here only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish," they answered. "Bring them here to me," he said, and he directed the people to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and looking up to the heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. They all ate and were satisfied. And the disciples picked up the 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was about 5,000 men, besides women and children, right? Okay, and then we also have Matthew chapter 15 verses 32 to 38, and it says, Jesus called his disciples to him and said, "I have compassion for these people. They have already been with me 3 days and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away hungry, or they may collapse on the way." His disciples answered, "Where could we get enough bread in this remote place to feed such a crowd?" "How many loaves do you have?" Jesus asked. 7, they replied, "and a few small fish." He told the crowd to sit down on the ground. Then he took the 7 loaves and the fish, and when he had given thanks, he broke them and gave them to the disciples, and they in turn to the people. They all ate and were satisfied. Afterwards, the disciples picked up 7 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was 4,000 men, besides women and children. Okay, and then we're going to go to Mark chapter 8, verses 14 chapter 8 verses 14 through 21. The disciples had forgotten to bring bread, except for 1 loaf they had with them in the boat. "Be careful," Jesus warned them. "Watch out for the yeast of the Pharisees and that of Herod." They discussed this with one another and said, "It is because we have no bread." Aware of their discussions, Jesus asked them, "Why are you talking about having no bread? Do you still not see or understand? Are your hearts hardened? Do you have eyes but fail to see, and ears but fail to hear? And don't you remember when I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000? How many basketful of pieces did you pick up?" 12, they replied. "And when I broke the 7 loaves for the 4,000, how many basketful of pieces did you pick up?" They answered, 7. He said to them, "Do you still not understand?" So after the disciples witnessed twice, firsthand, with their own 2 eyes, how Jesus provided and made a way out of what it looked like no way, they still did not trust that Jesus would do it again. They were still lacking faith. They still didn't understand. They still didn't fully believe, I guess. So Jesus had to remind them, like, don't you remember when I broke the 5 loaves? You know what I'm saying? For the 5,000, when I broke the 7 loaves for the 4,000, and you still don't understand. And it was interesting to me how back in these times, they literally saw Jesus perform miracles, okay? And they were still not fully trusting in him. I don't understand that. But anywho, this reminded me of us. God performed so many miracles in our lives, and he came through so many times, yet we still have a hard time trusting him and believing that he will do it again. If he did it before, he will do it again, baby. Because, you know, but we are not alone, because his disciples, they didn't seem to understand or trust this either. And like I said, they seen it with their own 2 eyes. And Jesus' response was reassuring to them in a way like, you know, I did it twice and I could do it again. So whatever you're having a hard time trusting God with, please understand, if he did it before, he would do it again. And, you know, I like to think about all of the times the Lord has come through for me. I think that's very helpful. Think about all the times that the Lord has come through for you. And this is why I like to write everything down. But I'm not going to lie, it'd be a lot to write down. Because, man. But I like to write everything down. You know, dreams, experience, basically anything pertaining to my spiritual journey. in my relationship with the Lord, so I can remind myself of the God that I serve and how many times he has come through, because I don't ever want to forget. Like, I literally have a fear of turning my back on the Lord and forgetting what he has done for me. You know what I'm saying? I even, like, in my prayers, I even ask God to remind me of things that he has done for me so I won't forget. Because this keeps you having hope. You know what I'm saying? It strengthens your faith. Because when you forget about the things that God did for you, it's easy for you, your faith to get weak, and for you to get weary, and for you to feel abandoned and all this different stuff. But when you remind yourself, or when God reminds you, like, remember this time I came for you, remember this, remember this, you know what I'm saying? When you keep a track, or like when God reminds you, like, of what he has done for you and when he has came through for you, it keeps you going. Okay, it gives you a brand new strength. It gives you a brand new faith, because sometimes you forget. I don't know why this happens, but a lot of times we forget about the things that God has done for us. You know what I'm saying? So we really have to sit back and remember, like, he did that. You know what I'm saying? And he'll do it again and again and again and again and again. And that's why I think it's important to remind ourselves, or ask the Lord to remind us of the things that he's done for us. Because when you think about those things, it just motivates you, and it's like, oh yeah, you did do that, like, and you just have a hope, and you have a trusting, like, it's a sense of peace, like, I know that it's going to be okay. Okay, so I don't ever like to forget about the things that the Lord has done for me. I make it my duty to remember. I make it my duty. You know what I'm saying? This is a great thing to do when you're going through a difficult time, or if you're having a hard time. Trusting God and just surrendering something to him, this is the perfect thing to do. So yeah, journal. You know, you can write down things, like, just different things that the Lord has done for you, or just ask him to remind you, because we need those reminders sometimes, because we be tripping. So, you know, the Lord is always there. He's always coming through. I honestly can't think of a time that he has not came through. You know what I'm saying? Because he's just that good. He's really just that good. But if this word is not for you, it's for somebody else. Remember, I'm telling y'all this because I love y'all. God bless.